That's my analysis for the day. Any questions? Bitcoin's doing what Bitcoin does. They want your Bitcoin. They want you to sell your Bitcoin so they can buy it. People that don't understand that will end up on the outside looking in. It's the main reason why you do not sell your Bitcoin. You just let them do whatever they're going to do, right? And it's your job as a volatility trader to trade all these little ebbs and flows in the market. Like that little move we had earlier today. Let's start with that. That was lovely as hell. Get this quick little move down here on this 15-minute candle. It rips right back up. That was a total. That was like $2,500 right there. Cleared out some longs real quick, some shorts real quick, and then it continued down. Then it popped up. I mean, it's hilarious. People that are trying to trade this that don't know what they're doing, they're just getting wrecked. And I'm just enjoying watching it, to be honest. Right? Because we're all trying to find that spot where these algos are going to come in and start buying again. Okay. In my opinion, there's really never a bottom. There's never a top. There's always a battle going on between these algos. Right. So if we can like right now, mid to like I'm talking 4 hour to daily. I mean, obviously right now the trend's down. High time frames, the trend's up, right? But when you get a trend down like this on these mid to, I mean, those are mid time frames. 4 hour daily, those aren't high time frames to me. Those are actually low time frames. So the trend's down low. So if you want to get in some good trades, some nice scalps to the downside, they've been available. So have these little pumps to the upside. If you can catch, I mean, notice on these two good ones right here. I mean, it was pretty obvious. This bounced right off the first standard deviation to the downside. This little pump we had earlier, where did it bounce off of? Right off the 95.4 Laplace distribution range. And is that as well? Let's see. I think they're stacked right on top of each other, aren't they? Let me see here real quick, guys. 56.63. Yeah, they are. They're literally 56.631, 56.629. The 2SD is right under the second standard deviation and normal distribution is right under the 95.4 Laplace. You see something like that, you're going to get a bounce off of that big time. Turn off this P. Actually, let's back his PV up. Time is it? 2:03. Just had a 15-minute candle. I'm gonna go all the way back here, which is 77 bars. Just gonna see what this looks like on the 15-minute VRE chart. Got a projection boss here. All right. You can see it kind of slid down to 95.4 at the beginning of the day. Went sideways a little bit, came down, tested the 95.4, went up, and it was really is what it was doing here. It's testing 4 hour standard deviations to the top and to the bottom, just bouncing around in there. Here's where we got that wick below. It pulled back up real quick, tested the downside of the 68.3. Then we dropped down below the 95.4 on the projection, tested the 95.4 in the second standard deviation normal distribution on the daily. Tried to get back up inside this 95.4 right here. It got back up inside the first standard deviation. Now you got to remember, like right now, there's a 95.4% chance Bitcoin closes above this range right here today. All right. There's a 68.3% chance it closes above this first standard deviation normal distribution. 68.3% chance it closes inside the 68.3 Laplace distribution. And I always go back to this. That daily range has still not been tested. Back here, right? Right back here. Boop, boop, boop. Never got tested. Up there at about 64K. Obviously, there's some sell pressure coming in. They're selling off bigger than shit. Things trying to stay afloat. So all we can do as volatility traders, right? We just read the charts. Just read the charts. Play the new daily volatility range. Stream chat real quick. Yeah. Yep. How many bars do you change the projections? This is what I do. Like on this isn't the only projection, right? I mean, I've got over here. I've got a weekly projection. I'll show you that in a second. I mean, that I've had up. Uh, I go to the first major pivot of the day on the VRE, and I'll leave a projection there. I just want to see how that plays out during the day, to see if it is significant, to see if it's being. I like to see how it's reacting. I like to see where the projections, pure Laplace distribution levels, where are they overlaying with something significant, right? That's what I'm looking for, especially when we start to get towards the end of the day. Obviously, this 99.7, this baby's down here at the third standard deviation normal distribution. I mean, today, do we go down to 54,972? Who the hell knows, right? What's the low today? 56,650? Pretty massive. Where did we start? 61K. Yeah, some point it's going to end because Bitcoin's bullish. Bitcoin's always bullish. That's where people. That's where people get lost in just in all the noise. Right? We can go over here. Whoop, there we go. Put this on. Yeah, let's go all the way up to a monthly. It's not going to do any projections. Whoops. Sorry. Let's move this up. I got this on log. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I just need to scale this bad boy down. This is going back into 2010. All right. What about that doesn't look bullish to you? Bitcoin's always been bullish since the beginning of time. All right. We've had these pullbacks, and that's all I call them. If you're going up on these super high time frames, they're pullbacks. That's all this ever is. Pullbacks, pullbacks, pullbacks. Let's see real quick where exactly we're at. How close are we to the 1SD on the monthly? It is at 53,338. 53,338. The 68.3 Laplace distribution range is at 60,000, roughly $9, 60,000 and $9. So by the end of this month, there's a 68.3% chance we close inside 60K. I mean, obviously, I believe it's going to come a lot faster than that. It's not going to take till the end of the month, unless this is some, a lot of selling off. So then you got to realize, so where are we going? We're going to look at some weekly distribution levels. And here's the projections that I have working right here on this weekly chart. Because there's validity to both of these. These 2 weeks where we really had this dump right here, right? I mean, it wicked right off of the 99.7, went sideways, launched off the 95.4, went up, got back above the mean of the projection. Now we're below the mean of that farther back projection of Laplace distribution, heading right towards the 95.4 Laplace distribution on the weekly. It's at 56,030. We haven't hit it yet. We very easily could. I'll be looking for that as a nice bounce point, to be honest, as well on the weekly. But then again, down here we've got the where's the second standard deviation normal distributions at about 53.5. Third standard deviation a tick under 50, 48,250 area. So we'll see at some point these algos are going to be sitting there waiting. And so we go over onto the VRE here. Look where you're at right now. This is the center of the price action volatility range right here. This is the center. Here's the bottom down here. We talked about this yesterday. The bottom, along with the weekly S3, is right at 55.2. All right, right at 55.2. Then you go back over here. 55.2. About $800 below the 95.4 Laplace distribution. And it's above the first standard deviation on the monthly. See what's happened on the 5-day real quick. You know what? Let's back this projection on the 5-day up a little bit. 11 bars, huh? 11. I like that number. I like that number. Shall I talk about numbers again? Shall I bore everybody with numbers? Nah. They should excite you, though. Numbers have always excited me. So let's see, on the 5-day, let's move PB. Let's see. Let's move PB2 up a little bit. 25. There we go. So right now we're below the 95.4 on both of these distributions, right? On the 5-day. Let's see where the first standard deviation on the 5-day, about 57. We're literally getting ready to pounce on it right now. Right? You can see the blue dot right under the bottom right there. Second standard deviation on 5 days at 53. 95.4 Laplace, 52. Wait a minute. Let me make sure. Yeah. Right about 52. 52077. And so we've already bounced off that first standard deviation on the 5-day, obviously. You know, at when we got down, what, 56.6, and when they obviously went a little bit below it, pulled back up above it. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see if that can find some support there, right here above 57K, right here above 57K. The higher you go in these time frames, the more powerful these deviation levels are. 100%. There's no doubt about it. Tell you what the other 15-minute projection is. Yeah, that first one that popped up, that was just because I reloaded the chart. That and that many candles back where you saw it at that point was where I had started it the last time I had that chart up. But when I reloaded it, it still has that in the indicator that many bars back. So it popped it up on there. That's not something that I like went to do on purpose. That's why I moved it. That's why I moved it. That's why it's here now, right? That's what I want to see. I want to see what's happening. So right now, right, once again, I mean, look, I mean, right, it hit the 2SD, it hit the 95.4 distribution levels again. We'll see if it bounces from here second time. Let's see what else can we look at. Let's see how much the 7-day are different. We're almost. Let's see here. 95.4 Laplace. It's right at, yeah, right at about 55.6. Second standard deviation, normal distribution, 54,639. Interesting. Very interesting. Obviously, if you go over here on the daily, right, you're going to see where we're at, where we just hit, right? There is a little blue dot and a little pink dot right there, the wick right to it. And that's what you're looking at over here on the VRE. See this level right here. Obviously, we already hit it once today. Floated back up inside this projection again, right back down. This, especially today, this is a strong area of support. You got the middle of the monthly volatility range, which is always powerful. The higher you go up on these ranges, the more powerful they are. And then you've got these 95.4 distribution levels for the daily right there. So it's not surprising me that we're bouncing from here, but it also won't surprise me at all if we get below there. And this is going to be the test. We get down to the bottom of this monthly volatility range. We break that range on the daily and we start closing candles below there. You're probably 100% going to see that 50K number, in my opinion. And what's at that 50K number? Show you. Right there. Reverse Fisher. 50.6. 50.6. Right now it's finding support too. on this third log MA I've got cooking here, 54 length. Why? That's strange. Why not the 50? Why not the 55? Because 5 plus 4 is 9. Everybody knows I love 9. You don't have to understand the numbers, but there's a reason why all my numbers total down to a 3, a 6, or a 9, because they are magnets for price action. And what I was looking at earlier was the 8-hour. It was hanging down here. Show ya. Boop. Right on this last log MA. Right? Boom. And that's set on a 144. I call it the chosen one. The old 144. So it's a good length, in my opinion, 100%. And the reverse fissure, reverse wave trend. But I mean, we got all this stuff crossing down, all right? Got everything crossing down. The central power mean is crossing down the reverse fissure right now in the 8-hour. I mean, you go into the higher time frames, it's we really don't have any crosses yet. There's nothing crossing down. I mean, you've got these 3 log MAs, they've crossed down the central power mean, and these 3 in particular are getting ready to cross down the reverse wave trend. They all are pink right here too. That telling you that returns are below the mean and the variance is rising. When you see these log MAs, these variance log MAs change to that color pink. And 12-hour bounced right off the old chosen one there. Right? That's also at 56,533. And I mean, our low today, 56,591 right now. So these are the areas I'm looking for. Are we going to break through these? If we break through this on the 12-hour, I'm bumping up to the daily. I'm looking at the daily. And we've got the chosen one here with the reverse fissure. They're both in a very similar area. I mean, they're only about $800 apart. And they're going to get closer every day. But I mean, we're talking about a daily. These 2 lower length variance log MAs, they've both turned pink. 100%. Right? So it's like, okay, Bitcoin, where are you going? Right? Where are you going, Bitcoin? So we pull up onto a 2-day. Boom. It's hitting the 33 right now. It's hitting the old 33. And that is the second variance log MA that I like to use. Because usually when you're trending down or to the upside like this, it'll ride that 11. It'll ride that 11. And then when you get a pullback, right, it'll use these other ones as support. So 2 days actually, nothing's crossed anything yet. I mean, we literally just crossed up on the 2-day the reverse fissure, right? That's why when you look at high time frames, this still looks healthy to me. Of course, you got these low lengths, right? They're starting to slope over, and you've got the 11s turning pink, but everything, all the other 3, they're just showing a little indecision, right? That's what the white color is pretty much telling you. Yeah. Then you go to the 4-hour. See you talking about that, Sarah. It's hurting my name. There we go. Yeah, the 4-hour was having this occurrence right here, right? Now it's not having not having the outlier anymore, negatively correlated. And it's like the 4-hour. I mean, we're building this bear div, right? We built this little pointed bear div. We had this little run up here. We're building another point. You go up to the 6-hour and you look at the returns oscillator, building bear div. 8-hour, building bear div. And it's right at the 0 mean. But yeah, 4-hour, 6-hour, 8-hour, we're all having outliers on the variance right here. 12-hour has been building bull div. Did I just say bear div? Bull div. You know what I'm talking about. I got so much shit on my mind right now. Trying to figure out utility for a bunch of donkeys that are buying pictures of monkeys. It's incredible. Those that know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. NFTs, baby, NFTs. trying to cheerlead a movement. So we're building bull div on the 12 hour as well, right? Totally building it. But now we're not having an outlier on the 12 hour, right? And we are finding a little bit of support for now on that variance log MA, right? That I call the chosen one. Tell you again, the chosen one. But look at the daily. We've been having an outlier on the daily, right? We've been having an outlier. I mean, boom, 4 days ago. Could have got in this move at, what is that up there? Probably about 66.5, almost $10,000. And that was already about 3K below the all-time high, a little over. So pretty incredible, right? Pretty incredible. This was kind of it turned positively correlated right at the bottom. She had this little positive correlation of variance was coming down too. And obviously, we've got the dictator. Boom, right? Crossing down the MA. This is all built on Fisher transform. I really like it. Do I trade it? No, I use it for confluence for things. That's all I do, especially divergence, right? If I'm seeing divergence on returns oscillator and the dictator, and this is, I've got, trust me, there's a lot of there's a lot of other stuff I probably don't even talk about, but I'm looking at tons of stuff, right? The log returns, the Z score of log returns, powerful as well. But now you got the APP on the daily, right? It was up there for a while, and like I said yesterday, in my opinion, there's no such thing as oversold or overbought, but there damn sure is something called exhaustion. It was exhausted, right? All the buying, exhaustion. All three of these different lengths, the price percentile, were topped out. Were topped out. The same thing happens to the downside. There'll be seller exhaustion when they all get to the bottom. And that's what I'm kind of looking at too on the 4 hour. They're making their way down, right? You got two lengths already down there, right? The low length's at a 0%. The mid length's at about a 3, and the high length is at a 45. I'm telling you right now, if you see this high length percentile of price, if you see this get to the bottom, you're probably going to see Bitcoin at $50,000. You're probably going to see Bitcoin at 50K. Who's ready to jump on that train and ride it to the top? Firstborn. On what time frame? What time frame are you talking about? Are you talking about on the 12 hour? Whoops, that's a 2 hour beefy. So you're here. Boom. Uh, but remember, you want to go to the bottom of the data set, right? Actually, go back. This is good right here because we have, let's find a good spot for this. This is where it gets tricky. This is where it gets tricky. Because if you really want to go to the bottom of the data set, right there on the RO, there's not. But if you go to this point right here, and and the return, and remember, this is divergence between returns and price action. This is telling you where the returns are at. So you don't necessarily always have to use where it's at, the bottom side of the data set there on the price action. So if we take it to right to this candle, so 14 bars. Where are you at? Returns oscillator. Yeah, yeah, they're good. It's all still valid from back here. This one, not so much. This one, yeah, for sure. Let's blow it up. Yeah. All right. Higher lows. But, this is interesting times of Bitcoin right now. Interesting times. This high length part of the dictator is way down here by the second standard deviation band. But I love the ABZ. This baby's just crossing up into positive standard deviations, right? Standard deviations to the top side, and it's negatively correlated. I mean, this is one thing really, right? The correlation on the entropy is to the downside, but that correlation has been decreasing as we're going into trend or flashing, right? So ideally is what you want to see for a move to the upside is one of these 12-hour candles. We stay in trend, but it starts to go blue or green, depending on what colors you're using. And this thing just flips the script and we bounce out of this hole at some point. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of longs piling on. There was a lot of shorts piling on. They started falling off a little bit. There's a lot of longs piling on down here. So either they're going to get the shit wrecked out of them or this baby will turn around. See what happens. So I got an apple. But yeah, you're doing it right. Say wrong. 100%. Know what too? Like that on a 9 better. I like it on a 9 better. Let's see here. There's a returns oscillator on the 2-day. Yeah, 2 days finally building some bull diff. Come back here. This data set to that. But there's not a low. There's not even a low yet on the data set. It's building between on the log return Z score, excuse me, and the returns oscillator. The dictator's just kind of floating around in the middle. All right. It's got a little brain rot right now on the 2-day. We know another dictator that's got some brain rot. Let's see. Look at the entropy on 2-day. Doesn't get any more random. Entropy's flashing. Still positive, still correlation to the top side. People are like, well, how can that be? I mean, all this is coming down. Yeah, and what's that tell you? On the high time frame, this is not trend. This is not a trending move. This is totally random. Totally random. Like I said, right? So on a 2-day, it's finding support on the 33. The daily, it's finding support on the 54. And on the 12-hour, it's finding support on the 144. So there's a lot of area. This is what I love about these. Do people understand now why I use the numbers that I use? This is why. When you use correct numerology, in all aspects of your life, it'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. You'll be like, oh, there's magic in these numbers. Yeah, there is. It's all about math. It's all about math. Let's see. Obviously, I don't even need to look at the deviation bands. The ones I were looking at, man, they were spun up tight. They all started expanding. Let's let them populate over here. These deviation bands take the longest to populate than any other indicator. And as soon as we get our little upgrade done to this that's in the works, we're going to be publishing this one. Okay. You guys will be able to get it. Come on, deviation bands. Don't deviate from what you're doing. Get your shit together, man. Holy crap, these things are taking forever to populate. There we go. Yeah, back here, everything's getting tight. And when you see this and you're closing these 90-minute candles below the Gaussian mean, so it's 9 out of 10 times, it's a no-brainer. No-brainer what's going on. What's that on the 6-hour where they were real tight too? Yeah, similar. 4 hour. Yeah, they got real tight right up here too. But now they're flared out. When they're flared out like this too, it really helps a lot. When you get these deviation bands spread out, it gives you good rejections and bounce levels on these bad boys. And hell, you've got the 1SD right now on the 4 hour at 54,289. 54,289. Dictator starting to turn back down. But you can see, I mean, if you see this dictator work its way back up, and then you see the returns oscillator stay with this bull div, you're going to see a move to the top side. But this is what's been ugly on the 4 hour the whole time, right? All the trending price action on the 4 hour. That's why this is exactly why I'm saying that when you're talking about these low to mid time frames, they're trending. The trend is to the downside. It's not like I'm just like, oh well, yeah, on the high time frames it's not trending and it's trending here. This is what I'm talking about, right? It's these lower time frames where this trend is to the downside. So right now, scalping, your capital is going to be best allocated to the downside. Scalps, no doubt about it. But you can look over on this chart, take your profit because you get some quick little bounces out of these areas, right? Some real quick bounces. We'll see what happens here. I mean, this was kind of a no-brainer. You're going to get a bounce off of this 95.4% level on the daily. And you got the center of the monthly right above it. So do we come out of this again? Trust me, I'm still waiting. We're almost in record territory right now. This thing has not went up and tested that 64K area yet, right? I've never seen it go longer than 4 days. This is the 4th day. If we move into Friday and it still hasn't tested it, we could have a fucking romping weekend. Who knows? This baby could fly up on the weekend. Because this is obviously, in my opinion, this is institutional sell-off. Probably has a lot to do with options. So, big time. I mean, you start getting it moved to the downside like this. People that bought premium, bought calls, what are they doing to cover their position? Right? They're freaking selling futures. That's how you cover your position. That's what futures are for. Futures aren't meant to get into position and just sit in it, especially in Bitcoin, for God's sakes, man. This thing is volatile as hell. This is why people get wrecked and wreck their accounts all the time. Because they just try to get into positions and sit in them. It's a total different story if you're talking about scalping delta. Scalping the delta of the futures I'm fully bravo. Do that all day. But these things are mainly made, they're for hedging your options positions 100%. And it works well. Works real well. I mean, obviously, you can just add a leg to your options position, right? And that's what a lot of people do too. They're either gonna if you're long, if you're in long options, right? If you bought premium, you're going to immediately you're going to be in a strangle, right? Likely strangle or straddle. That's another way to cover. I mean, if you buy a call, you can sell a put, right? At that point, you don't care which way it goes. You're only going to, when you buy premium, you're only going to lose the premium. So if you got a read at the beginning of the option, when the options got released, right after the last expiration, you're getting into some new options trades, and it looked like, okay, volatility was low, it's going to expand, and from what I'm seeing, price action's going to the top side. So you buy some premium, you buy some calls, preferably out of the money, right? Because it's cheaper. Premium's going to be cheaper, and goes the other way on you. So you sell the put. And at that point, you know the volatility is going to expand, but apparently the move went to the downside. So now you bought the put. And at this point, oh, it was a fake out, it was a bear trap, but you still got like whatever, 4-6 weeks or something till expiration. You're covered on both sides. You're going to end up losing one of those premiums, right? But price action's the volatility is gonna expand. You're gonna have a very volatile move to the top or to the bottom, and that's, in my opinion, that's a very easy trade. Very easy trade. You know, if you're buying or selling the underlying to cover your options positions, you have to monitor that shit. You got to know, okay, all right, now we hit an area down here. Now it's going to go in my direction. Then you got to get out of the futures position because that's what it does. On paper, it will look like you've lost money, right? But you were gaining money buying or selling the underlying. So it covers that position. And then immediately, boom. So your account staying the same. The trade will appear to be a loss, but your account is actually your collateral. Whatever you're using as collateral is staying roughly the same. It's confusing at first when people try to think about it, but in reality, it's really not that confusing. It really isn't. Let's see. You know what is confusing though? Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the grand confuser. That's why we just scalp the delta. That's all you got to do, right? Just wait. Wait, especially if you get down here on these low time frames and you're having volatile shit like this going on, look at all the outliers. There's outliers all over the place when the variance is popping, right? There's outliers all over the place. Outliers, right? Variance only goes up and comes back down. It's not like this is a directional indicator. You know what makes it directional though? Is the correlation, the outside line. So when variance is rising and the outside's pink and you're having an outlier, that price action is going to come hammering down on the 15-minute. Boop, 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 boop. Right? Hammering down. Especially when everything's just random. People are getting wrecked. They have no clue what's going on. We do. We know because we know to correlate volatility. We know that if you add correlation to variance, variance is the spread of data around the mean. We don't give a shit which way that data is going. Correlation is going to tell us every time. That's why most of my damn charts all volatility. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, almost every indicator I have, it's all volatility, entropy. All right. I don't have the only momentum indicator on here is the returns oscillator. Right. And I don't even use it for momentum at all. I know when you're having an outlier on the variance, there's going to be a momentum move, right? It's going to move. I don't need relative strength or stochastic to tell me. Period. The end. And you can't go wrong when you got when the 15-minute, right? You're flashing on these AVRs. This is our bread and butter. The volatility, the deviation bands, the move we literally just had to the downside. Bounced right on the second standard deviation. Now we're hammering, we're dicking around with the Gaussian mean. Right? And it's powerful. You start closing candles below or above price action. Sometimes you get this little action, right? So you use this in confluence with other indicators, specifically this, right? So let's go over here. Right here, when it was dipping, there's no outlier or anything going on right here. You're not getting in a trade right here. You know, okay, hey, oh, whoa, it closed that 15-minute below. Yeah, it closed these 15 minutes below. Variance started rising to the downside, but we didn't have an outlier, right? You're not getting in a trade there. Oh, wait a minute. Now we're getting back up above. We're closing 15. We closed 15-minute candles above. I don't care. We're not having an outlier. And what if you get up above that Gaussian mean? You're like, okay, we're back above the Gaussian mean. I'm going long, right? And then a candle later, you start having an outlier to the downside, and then you're below the Gaussian mean. That's when you get in the damn trade. These indicators make it easy for you if you just understand how to use them. And it's really not that hard. You just take some practice, right? Take some learning. Big time. And so when you get this run up right here on the 15-minute, what's that? Yes, it was. There was a little bit of bear div on the dictator in the 15-minute. With that high right here, it started coming back up. Nope, going down. So that added. There we go. Grabbing an outlier. The z-score of log returns was heading down already from all the way back here. Let's see. Read here. Oh yeah. Yeah, Cynic, sometimes. They got so many, they're making a ton of money too. I mean, for what I understand, and that's limited knowledge of how it works, but they need more servers. I mean, it's like they've got a lot of customers, big time. But I mean, look at there's this 15-minute. I mean, this has been the APPs have been down here a lot. I mean, they popped off the bottom once, really significant. There's a lot of exhaustion right now in these low time frames. 30-minute, exhausted. 45-minute, exhausted. I know the 90 and the hour is. They're just hanging out down there. So that is what that's creating is at some point there's going to be a massive imbalance of buy and sell pressure, and that is going to play out. And that's when you get a freaking just rocket ship north. And that's where people screw up. They get scared, they sell their Bitcoin, and then they're sitting, okay, now where am I going to rebuy? And before you knew it, you get like two 15-minute candles, price action's $5,000 above again. It's ridiculous. That's how this game plays out, man. It's insane. It's insane. Let's see. What is staking? You know what? Let me put this on index real quick. This is 2 hour. 2 hours starting to turn up. Very interesting. I know the 4 hour was kind of bending over again. It's spanked. Yeah, and that's why we're going down. See, I mean, that's what this is. So this can become so tricky. When you understand how to read this indicator, it's a no-brainer, right? It's a no-brainer how this works. Boom. So number one, right here. So that was going up, down. Bam. Right about there. Right when that correlation breaks back up to head positively correlated. Let's see, where did that move stop at? Probably 2 candles at the top side. Then we had a little pullback on that candle. Then it resumed to the top side right there, right? Then as the z-score of historical volatility started coming down, positively correlated, price action came down right here, right? Coming down all the way to about, I think that point right there is where it was still heading up. Then it started coming down. So you had a little brief uptick on the 4 hour. Now it's starting to head up again, going into negative correlation, bringing the price action back down. But like right here on this move, on this first pink line here, when I blow up this price action, you're going to see price action start to rise. At the second one, you're going to see a pullback, right? And then you're going to see another candle going back up to the upside. Let's see here. Gonna make me look like a donkey right now. No, there it was. Because it's gonna come, right? It's not gonna be on the candle. It's gonna be the next one. Up, boom. Then came down, boom, sucked back up. This is a lot easier to do on a lower time frame too, because everything's happening a lot quicker. Let's see. Let me see what I have real quick on my correlation 5. Yeah, that's good. Practice with this though, right? Practice with this sucker for sure, 100%. Like right here, when the Z score started going back up, boom, that's where you get this up move, zip right back up, and then the Z score's heading down as it's sloping negatively correlated, and that price action's still walking up. Boop, 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 boop. And right about there, where it heads back up positively correlated coming down, price action comes down. I mean, there's little ebb and flows in price when you understand how to read the volatility, right? Even the Z score of volatility. Let's see. Not the monthly CV. No, not the monthly. I mean, you have the VRE, right? You should know where these are at. Here's the top of the monthly. The top of the monthly's at 315. The center of the monthly, 57,261. The bottom of the monthly is at 55.2. 64K is the daily volatility range that never got tested. Right here. That's 64K. Price action opened the day and has been running from it ever since. You got to respect those. Got to respect it. And so when this thing rocket ships out of wherever the hell it's going, number one, if it makes it to into Friday, which apparently it's going to, unless this thing just breaks all these bears' hearts, it just roars up. What? Woo, 7K in the next couple hours. Hey, don't put anything past Bitcoin. It's gonna make its way up there, right? And it's gonna go there fast because of the imbalance in the buy and sell pressure, number one. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of it. Why? Well, because the bulls are just chilling. The bulls aren't even fighting back. You've got some of this little stuff going on, but overall, the bears are just having their way. The bears are selling off, right? They're just selling off Bitcoin. And so who is it? It's the bulls taking profit. The bulls are the bears, and the bears are the bulls. Everybody really thinks when it comes to these high frequency trading firms that some are bears and some are bulls. Nah, no, they're wearing both hats. They're not stupid. They're the ones moving the market. Let's see. 56,787. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, 64K, that's the daily from Monday, right? Isn't that from Monday? Got the new weekly. Let's see. Oops. Was that weekly? No, Tuesday. Was it the beginning of Tuesday? Hold on now. Now I'm getting a little. God, what day is it, man? Am I that lost? No, it's Thursday today. We're getting ready to go into Crypto Friday, 5 o'clock. There's Monday. Monday, it was Tuesday's volatility range. So beg my pardon. I was a day off. I got really confused. I thought this was Monday. We still got till Friday. We got till tomorrow. And after Friday, if this thing hasn't tested that 64K area, that's going to be a new record. I've never seen that. I've never seen it go past 4 days. So we do. We have tomorrow too. Okay, that's good to know. Glad I got that straightened out. All my days just run together. Like, right? What's the date today? 17th? Wasn't it just November 1st? Or it's the 18th. Sorry. It was just the 1st. It's already the 18th of November. I mean, hell, Thanksgiving's a few days away, right? Jesus. Wish I was back on my property. Putting arrows through turkeys. They say my property is full of turkey and deer. Bilbo's going to turn into Gollum. Yes, he will. He's going to get him. He's going to pack his freezers full of good beef. Beef, you know what I mean? Venison. Venison and turkey bake. All right, let's see here. Anybody got any questions? I know you do, MJ. You're always lost. What kind of questions you got, buddy?
You are brutal today. Brutal. No, man. Hey, there's some good opportunity coming up here if you pay attention.
Yes, there is. There's going to be massive opportunity. But you're right. Just don't get greedy.
Yep.
Don't get greedy. You're gonna know. You're gonna know when it happens. And so what do you do then? Even if you have to wait until you get a new daily range to be safe, right? It's like do it. It's worth it because you never know. You never freaking know. In my opinion, like we're in the midst of a massive bear trap right now. They're trapping up because there are the well, I mean, they're that I mean, I consider people that are perma bears, they're not the brightest animals on the planet. They eat too much honey. Um, there was a lot of shorts piling up on Bitfinex, right? And here at some point on our website, we're going to have a lot of global metrics and things. So we'll be able to take a look at the bigger picture a lot more, the open interest, uh, all kinds of fun stuff, just to see what's going on. So at some point, this baby's going to leap out of here, and wreck these shorts. But right, it's back up to on Bitfinex. It's back up to like 1,270 shorts. I mean, hell, it got down to like 100 at one point. But 1,080 bitcoins have been long today on Bitfinex. 1,080 bitcoins, and it was literally up to about 500, no, 600 shorts. Right now, it's dropped in half. It was up 60%. It's dropped off half. So the people that were in their shorts, and that's why there are some smart people out there, right? There are some smart people out there. They know what's right here. We're not the only ones that know this stuff. There are people out there that know where these areas are.
Well, yeah.
So
Remember, the bots don't care about your feelings, right? So
no,
these
no.
these bots and these guys got orders in there, and they're gonna hit regardless of how you feel
Mm-hmm.
about it.
Mm-hmm. Big time. So this will be interesting, first of all, to see where we close. It's right now coming into the end of the day here in about an hour. Where's the new daily range going to be? Right. At this point, we close down here. We're closing below it. We're closing below it. And that first standard deviation to the downside, or even we close down here, you're going to see the bottom side of the 68.3 Laplace at the bottom of the monthly range. We come up here because the new daily range, a lot of volatility to the downside. It's going to pull it down big time. The new daily range is going to be right around where this first standard deviation is, right around 58.3, 58.4, right in this area. So, yeah, price action's way below it right now. It wouldn't surprise me at all this last hour for it to try to work its way back up. It loves to do that. That's what was going on right here. Coming back up, getting up to where this new daily range is probably going to be. We'll see if it's going to do it again, or is it going to close that far below, and then maybe this will be the bottom. Bitcoin opens up today, continuation, bounce off the bottom of the range, then it goes up to test the daily range, right? Or we get this huge, whatever the hell's going on. We're going to get a big ass flush out to take out all this long leverage, or we're going to find this bounce point somewhere down here at the bottom of the monthly range. Because in my opinion, in the next, whatever, 12 days or however many days we have left, almost 2 weeks to the end of this month, you're going to see a significantly higher price on Bitcoin. Significantly higher price. And December could be off the charts, right? Or Bitcoin, and the people selling off have got a big old surprise, right? And they're going to trick the hell out of everybody, and they're going to, who knows where they're going to run this thing to? Who knows? That's why we love the VRE. And right now, these daily ranges are stair stepping down, right? Every day this damn week, these things are just stepping down. Right? And but is what we don't want, and is what's going to work out pretty good, and it's not even close to even that happening yet, is this next weekly range coming into next Monday is not going to be below the monthly. All right, the monthly's way down here, right around where price action is right now. So unless Bitcoin does something stupid and goes like 40K or something, you're not going to see the new weekly range drop below the monthly. If that happens, we got a shit show on our hands. Who knows where this thing's going? What are we going to do? Down here and test these damn gaps at 18K, 19K, 20K? That would shock a lot of people. Leave it up to Bitcoin to change the rules on everything. But there's good opportunity no matter what happens if you're just careful and pay attention to these like mid-time or middle time frames, right? Like your 4 hour, your daily. Hell, daily's a mid time frame to me. That's not a high time frame. So keep an eye on what that trend is looking like. What time is it? Almost done here. Almost done here. You know, like on the 15-minute. Geez, I mean, the correlation's been to the downside, right? All freaking day. In and out of trend. Back into trend right now. That's why this baby dropped again on that last little 15-minute roll to the downside in the last couple hours. Of course, fish are just dropping off a cliff down here. Both of the lengths too. That's where I really like this. I really like this. When these things link up and they're both heading down, when they both changed, pretty powerful. Pretty powerful. But like I said, on all these low time frames, there's a ton of exhaustion. A ton. Even the 2 hours buried. All right. I'm sure the 3 hour is too. The 4 hour obviously is going to take a little longer, but there's two lengths that are very buried, very buried. And like I said, if you see this 4 hour end up down here as well, la la la. And I'm pretty sure on that APP for you guys that are asking, you don't have to ask, right? I've got it set on a 400, 81, 225, and 400. Bing, bing, bong. And I'm actually working on this 400. I've got it like that because I wanted because right, what's the square root of 400? Right? And what's 4 plus 2? 4 plus 2 is 6. That's why I used the 2400 on my high length ABR. But when we're talking about just one side of it, it's like I really don't like that, right? I like the 225, right? That's a 9. That's a 9. So I'm probably looking for something a little lower, something that's going to total up to a number I like better. But right now it is set on a 400, which is pretty high. And that's why this thing hasn't buried. But at the same time, on a 4 hour, and you've got that high of a length, and this thing is continuing down, it gives you, it's telling you, well, hey, on these high lengths, it's not exhausted at all on the 4 hour. There's a lot more room to go. And tomorrow on the stream, I'll pull up the chart that's got the buy and sell pressure, and we'll just see exactly what's going on into the weekend. Because that 64K area is hanging there, So I got a day, I got screwed up on my days. So on Friday, this day coming up, either this thing's going to flush, do whatever the hell it's going to do. Maybe it's going to go to the bottom of that monthly range, and that's going to be where those algos are just waiting. And they're just going to put the buy mode on, and it's not going to stop until it gets to 64K. Hell, who knows? I mean, that could be a $10,000 move to the top side, so pay attention. Or we have even a bigger flush out and it does it. Either way, it's going to go up there. And if it doesn't by Friday, that's going to be the longest I've ever seen that chart not play out. It always plays out. It never doesn't play out. Those ranges always get tested. There's no ands, ifs, or ifs or buts about it. I can't even talk. Right now, right? Going in the end of the day, this thing's flushing. So that being said, if you're watching this on YouTube, we're alpha trading. We trade volatility, probability, and statistics, and we love to teach people to do the same and how to trade these low time frames, right? How to scalp this volatility, right? Scalp the delta of these futures. It's very powerful. The link to our Discord is in the description. Whoa. There we go. Come in, check us out. We're a great group of people. 100%. Well, that thing went haywire, didn't it? We're a great group of people. We love to chat you up, get you on the right path. And as usual, I want to thank everybody for watching live in the Discord. You guys are great. You guys are fantastic. And we will see you tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Have a beautiful rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you live at in this realm, in the metaverse. Right? We're in the simulation. Beep boop pop. I'll see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. See ya.